Hujambo, habari gani? Furaha za siku, furaha za siku. Mimi kupenda na wewe, wewe ni kupenda na mimi, moja kupenda. Happy 7th day. Furaha za siku, furaha za siku, furaha za siku. Appreciate you, those who see you. Appreciate you, those who ain't. Appreciate, most importantly, the God for giving me an insight into the book of life. And I'm doing this so that I can get an understanding of what he wants me to learn. And if anybody else want to come along for the ride, cool. Anyway, now, the third book of Moses is called Leviticus. Levitus. Proper pronunciation, Kiswahili, Leviticus. The third book, tattoo. Number 3, Moja Bili Tattoo. Third book of Moses called Leviticus. Chapter 1, read. Now, the God called to Moses and spoke to him from the tabernacle of meeting, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When any one of you brings an offering to the God, you shall bring your offering of the livestock of the herd and of the flock. If his offering is a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own free will at the door of the tabernacle of meeting before the God. Then he shall put his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and there will be accepted on his behalf to make atonement for him. He shall kill the bull before the God, and the priest Aaron's sons shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood all around on the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of meeting. One more time, the third book of Moses, called Leviticus, chapter 1, verse 5. Sprinkle Aaron's sons, sprinkle blood on the altar. So it's not about Satan worshiping or nothing like that. Why they trying to make you think that if you slain blood, it's about Satan? No, it's not about Satan. Maybe their God, they slain blood in an evil way, but the God of God, no, it wasn't like that. Verse 6, chapter 1. And he shall skin the burnt offering and cut it into its pieces. The sons of Aaron, the priest, shall put fire on the altar and lay the wood in order on the fire. Then the priest Aaron's son shall lay the parts, the head, and the fat in order on the wood that is on the fire upon the altar. But he shall wash its entrails and its legs with water, and the priest shall burn all on the altar as a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the God. If his offering is of the flocks, of the sheep, or of the goats as a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring a male without blemish. He shall kill it on the north side of the altar before the God, and the priest Aaron's son shall sprinkle its blood all around on the altar. And he shall cut it into its pieces with its head and its fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire upon the altar. But he shall wash the entrails and the legs with water. Then the priest shall bring it all and burn it on the altar. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the God. And if the burnt sacrifice of his offering to the God is of birds, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or young pigeons. The priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off his head, and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out at the side of the altar. And he shall remove his crop with his feathers and cast it beside the altar on the east side into the place for ashes. Then he shall split it at its wings, but shall not divide it completely. And the priest shall burn it on the altar on the wood that is on the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the God. Chapter 2, Leviticus. When anyone offers a grain offering to the God, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil on it and put frankincense on it. He shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priest, one of whom shall take from it his handful of fine flour and oil with all the frankincense. And the priest shall burn it as a memorial on the altar, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the God. The rest of the grain offering shall be Aaron and his sons. It is most holy of the offerings to the God made by fire. And if you bring as an offering a grain offering baked in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. But if the offering is a grain offering baked in a pan, it shall be of fine flour unleavened mixed with oil. You shall break it in pieces and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. If your offering is a grain offering baked in a covered pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. You shall bring the grain offering that is made of these things to the God, and when it is presented to the priest, he shall bring it to the altar. Then the priest shall take from the grain offering a memorial portion and burn it on the altar. It is an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the God. And what is left of the grain offering shall be Aaron and his sons. It is most holy of the offerings to the God made by fire. No grain offering which you bring to the God shall be made with leaven, for you shall burn no leaven, nor any honey in any offering to the God made by fire. As for the offering of the first fruit, you shall offer them to the God, but they shall not be burned on the altar for a sweet aroma. And every offering of your grain offering you shall season with salt. You shall not allow the salt of the covenant of your God to be lacking for your grain offering. With all your offerings you shall offer salt. If you offer a grain offering of your first fruits to the God, you shall offer for the grain offering of your first fruits, green heads of grain roasted on the fire, grain beaten from full heads. And you shall put oil on it and lay frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. Then the priest shall burn the memorial portion, part of this beaten grain and part of its oil, with all the frankincense as an offering made by fire to the God. Chapter 3. When his offering is a sacrifice of a peace offering, if he offers it of the herd, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the God. And he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And Aaron's sons, the priest, shall sprinkle the blood all around on the altar. Then he shall offer from the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by fire to the God. The fat that covers the entrails and all the fat that is on the entrails, the two kidneys and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove. And Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt offering, which is on the wood that is on the fire, as an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the God. If his offering as a sacrifice of a peace offering to the God is of the flock, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offers a lamb as his offering, then he shall offer it before the God. And he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and kill it before the tabernacle of meeting. And Aaron's son shall sprinkle his blood all around on the altar. Then he shall offer from the sacrifice of the peace offering as an offering made by fire to the God is fat and the whole fat tail which he shall remove close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails and all the fat that is on the entrails, the two kidneys and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove. And the priest shall burn them on the altar as food, an offering made by fire to the God. And if his offering is a goat, excuse me, and if his offering is a goat, then he shall offer it before the God. He shall lay his hand on his head and kill it before the tabernacle of meeting, and the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle his blood all around on the altar. Then he shall offer from his offering as an offering made by fire to the God. The fat that covers the entrails and all the fat that is on the entrails, the two kidneys and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove. And the priest shall burn them on the altar of food as food, an offering made by fire for a sweet aroma. All the fat is the God's. This shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations, and all your dwellings. You shall eat neither fat nor blood. You shall eat neither fat nor blood. You shall eat neither fat nor blood. True Jews do not eat bloody meat. No. You shall eat no fat and no blood. And when I'm talking about the true Jews, I'm not talking about the J.E.s. I'm talking about the J.U.s. Because it's amazing to me. Okay, look up Jews. It's the practice of Judaism. But the practice of Judaism is J.U. So where does J.E.W. come from? If you're a J.W., then you're not really a true Jew. Because a true Jew is J.U. Hey, feed the potters go, hell like the water of lamb. Hey, Not my choice, by design, and I'm loving it in a minute. Anyway, Leviticus, my bad, Leviticus, chapter 4. Now the God spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a person sins unintentionally against any of the commandments of the God in anything which are not to be done, and does any of them, if the anointed priest sin, bringing guilt on the people, then let him offer to the God for his sin which he has sinned a young bull without blemish as a sin offering. He shall bring the bull to the door of the tabernacle of meeting before the God. Lay his hand on the bull's head and kill the bull before the God. Then the anointed priest shall take some of the bull's blood and bring it to the tabernacle of meeting. The priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before the God in front of the veil of the sanctuary. 7 times. We already know. Chapter 4, verse 7. And the priest shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of sweet incense before the God, which is in the tabernacle of meeting. He shall pour the remaining blood of the bull at the base of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. He shall take from it all the fat of the bull as the sin offering, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat which is on the entrails, the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove, as it was taken from the bull of the sacrifice of the peace offering, and the priest shall burn them on the altar of the burnt offering. But the bull's hide and all its flesh, with its head and legs, its entrails and offal, the whole bull he shall carry outside the camp to a clean place where the ashes are poured out, and burn it on wood with fire where the ashes are poured out, and it shall be burned. Now, if the whole congregation of Israel sins unintentionally, and the thing is hidden from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done something against any of the commandments of the God, in anything which should not be done, and are guilty, when the sin which they have committed becomes known, then the assembly shall offer a young bull for the sin and bring it before the tabernacle meeting. And the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before the God. Then the bull shall be killed before the God. The anointed priest shall bring some of the bull's blood to the tabernacle of meeting. Then the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before the God in front of the veil. And he shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar which is before the God, which is in the tabernacle of meeting, and he shall pour the remaining blood at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. He shall take all the fat from it and burn it on the altar. And he shall do with the bull as he did with the bull as a sin offering. Thus he shall do with it. So the priest shall make atonement for them, and it shall be forgiven them. Then he shall carry the bull outside the camp and burn it as he burned the first bull. It is a sin offering for the assembly. When a ruler has sinned and done something unintentionally against any of the commandments of the God, his God, any which he should not be done, and is guilty of the God, his God. When a ruler, let me repeat that. Leviticus chapter 4, verse 22. When a ruler has sinned and done something unintentionally against any of the commandments of the God, his God, of the God, his God, in anything which should not be done, and is guilty. Or if his sin which he has committed comes to his knowledge, he shall bring as his offering a kid of the goats, and male without blemish. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the goat and kill it at the place where they kill the burnt offering before the God. It is a sin offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his fingers, put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and pour his blood at the base of the altar of burnt offering. He shall burn all his fat on the altar like the fat of the sacrifice of the peace offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin, and it shall be forgiven him. If any one of the common people sins unintentionally by doing something against any of the commandments of the God, and anything which ought not to be done, and is guilty, or if his sin which he has committed comes to his knowledge, then he shall bring as his offering a kid of the goats, a female without blemish, for his sins which he has committed. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill the sin offering at the place of the burnt offering. Then the priest shall take some of his blood with his finger, put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and pour all the remaining blood at the base of the altar. He shall remove all its fats, as fat is removed from the sacrifice of the peace offering, and the priest shall burn it on the altar for a sweet aroma to the God. So the priest shall make atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. If he brings a lamb as his sin offering, he shall bring a female without blemish. Then he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and kill it as a sin offering at the place where they kill the burnt offering. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and pour all the remaining blood at the base of the altar. He shall remove all his fats as the fat of the lamb is removed from the sacrifice of the peace offering. Then the priest shall burn it on the altar according to the offerings made by fire to the gods. So the priest shall make atonement for his sin that he has committed, and it shall be forgiven him. Chapter 5. If a person sins in hearing the utterance of an oath and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of the matter, if he does not tell it, he bears guilt. Or if a person touches any unclean thing, whether it is the carcass of an unclean beast, or the carcass of an unclean livestock, or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and he is unaware of it, he shall also be unclean and guilty. Or if he touches human uncleanness, whatever uncleanness with which a man may be fouled, and he is unaware of it, when he realizes it, then he shall be guilty. Or if a person swears, speaking thoughtlessly with his lips to do evil or to do good. Whoa. Leviticus chapter 5, verse 4. Or if a person swears, speaking thoughtlessly with his lips to do evil or to do good, whatever it is that a man may pronounce by an oath, and he is unaware of it, when he realizes it, then he shall be guilty in any of these matters. Oh, be a man of your word. That's all that is. To do evil or to do good. Yeah, be a man of your word. Verse 5, chapter 5. And it shall be when he is guilty in any of these matters that he shall confess that he has sinned in that thing. And he shall bring his trespass offering to the God for his sin which he has committed, a female from the flock, a lamb or a kid of the goat, as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin. If he is not able to bring a lamb, then he shall bring to the God for his trespass which he has committed 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one as a sin offering, the other as a burnt offering. And he shall bring them to the priest, who shall offer that which is for the sin offering first, and wring off his head from his neck, but shall not divide it completely. Then he shall sprinkle some of the blood of the sin offering on the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood shall be drained out of the base of the altar. It is a sin altar. It is a sin offering. And he shall offer the second as a burnt offering according to the prescribed manner. So the priest shall make atonement on his behalf for his sin which he has committed, and it shall be forgiven him. But if he is not able to bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, then he who sins shall bring for his offering 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a sin offering. He shall put no oil on it, nor shall he put frankincense on it, for it is a sin offering. Then he shall bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his handful of it as a memorial portion, and burn it on the altar according to the offerings made by fire to the God. It is a sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for him for his sin that he has committed in any of these matters, and it shall be forgiven him. The rest shall be the priest as a grain offering. Then the God spoke to Moses, saying, if a person commits a trespass and sins unintentionally in regard to the holy things of the God, then he shall bring to the God as his trespass offering a ram without blemish from the flocks with your valuation in shekels of silver according to the shekel of the sanctuary as a trespass offering. And he shall make restitution for the harm that he has done in regard to the holy thing, and shall add 1/5 to it and give it to the priest. So the priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. If a person sins and commits any of these things which are forbidden to be done by the commandments of the God, though he does not know it, yet he is guilty and shall bear his iniquity. And he shall bring to the priest a ram without blemish from the flock with your valuation as a trespass offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him regarding his ignorance in which he erred and did not know it, and it shall be forgiven him. It is a trespass offering. He has certainly trespassed against the God. Chapter 6. And the God spoke to Moses, saying, if a person sins and commits a trespass against the God by lying to his neighbor about what was delivered to him for safekeeping, or about a pledge, or about a robbery, or he has extorted from his neighbor, or if he has found what was lost and lies concerning it and swears falsely, then he one of these things that a man may do in which he sins, then it shall be because he has sinned and is guilty that he shall restore what he has stolen, or the thing which he has extorted, or what was delivered to him for safekeeping, or the lost thing which he found. Or all, or the lost thing which he found is even there, man. Wow. So, I'm guilty. I'm just as guilty as everybody else, man. If I find the gang of money is meant for me, but he said right here, the God of God say, or the lost thing which he found. Because you found it, it ain't yours. So you're really supposed to turn it in. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. I really ain't gonna know. Because I am human. I'm mortal. So I'm not a he that is above sin. First stone. I can't chunk no stones, baby. Anyway, Leviticus chapter 5. Wow. Chapter 5. Chapter 6. Excuse me. Verse 5. For all that about which he has sworn falsely, he shall restore its full value and 1/5 more to it, and give it to whomever it belongs on the day of his trespass offering. And he shall bring his trespass offering to the God, a ram without blemish from the flock, with their valuation as a trespass offering to the priest. So the priest shall make an atonement for him before the God, and he shall be forgiven for any one of these things that he may have done in which he trespasses. Then the God spoke to Moses, saying, Command Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the law of the burnt offering. The burnt offering shall be on the hearth upon the altar all night until morning, and the fire of the altar shall be kept burning on it. And the priest shall put on his linen garment and his linen trousers he shall put on his body, and take up the ashes of the burnt offering which the fire has consumed on the altar, and he shall put them beside the altar. You see this linen trousers, man. Why they trying to make it seem like all Africans, the only thing Africans know to do is put on a robe or something like that, man. We was wearing pants back then, with pants now. Come on, but anyway. Then he shall take off his garments, put on other garments, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire on the altar shall be kept burning on it; it shall not be put out. And the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and lay the burnt offering in order on it, and he shall burn on it the fat of the peace offerings. A fire shall always be burning on the altar; it shall never go out. This is the law. Yeah, why they trying to come? That's why they trying to come up with that Olympic stuff. The Olympic torch. Oh, the Olympic torch is out. No, it ain't about the Olympic torch. Yeah, it ain't about the Olympic torch. It's about this torch, the torch to the God of gods. Yeah. This is the law of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall offer it on the altar before the God. He shall take from his handful his handful of the fine flour of the grain offering with its oil, and all the frankincense which is on the grain offering, and shall burn it on the altar for a sweet aroma as a memorial to the God. And the remainder of it Aaron and his son shall eat. With unleavened bread it shall be eaten in a holy place in the court of the tabernacle of meeting. They shall eat it. It shall not be baked with leaven. I have given it as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most holy, like the sin offering and the trespass offering. All the males among the children of Aaron may eat it. It shall be a statute forever in your generation concerning the offerings made by fire to the God. Everyone who touches them must be holy. And the God spoke to Moses, saying, This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they shall offer to the God, beginning on the day when he is anointed, 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a daily grain offering. Half of it in the morning, half of it at night. It shall be made in a pan with oil. When it is mixed, you shall bring it in. The baked pieces of the grain offering you shall offer for a sweet aroma to the God. The priest from among his sons, who is anointed in his place, shall offer it. It is statute forever to the God. It shall be wholly burned. For every grain offering for the priest shall be wholly burned, it shall not be eaten. Also, the God spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, This is the law of the sin offering. In the place where the burnt offering is killed, the sin offering shall be killed before the God. It is most holy. The priest who offers it for sin shall eat it. In a holy place it shall be eaten, in the court of the tabernacle of meeting. Everyone who touches his flesh must be holy, and when his blood is sprinkled on any garment, you shall wash that on which it was sprinkled in that holy place. But the earthen vessel in which it is boiled shall be broken, and if it And if it is boiled in a bronze pot, it shall be both scoured and rinsed in water. All the males among the priests may eat it. It is most holy. But no sin offering from which any of the blood is brought into the tabernacle meeting to make atonement in the holy place shall be eaten. It shall be burned in the fire. Chapter 7. Likewise, this is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. In the place where they kill the burnt offering, they shall kill the trespass offering, and its blood he shall sprinkle all around on the altar, and he shall offer from it all its fat, the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, the two kidneys, and the fat that is under by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove. And the priest shall burn them on the altar as an offering made by fire to the God. It is a trespass offering. Every male among the priests may eat it. It shall be eaten in the holy place. It is most holy. The trespass offering is like the sin offering. There is one law for them both. The priest who makes atonement with it shall have it. And the priest who offers anyone's burnt offering, that priest shall have for himself the skin of the burnt offering which he has offered. Also, every grain offering that is baked in the oven, and all that is prepared in a covered pan or in a pan, shall be the priest who offers it. Every grain offering, whether mixed with oil or dry, shall belong to all the sons of Aaron, to one as much as the other. This is the law of the sacrifice of peace offering, which he shall offer to the God. If he offers it for a thanksgiving, Leviticus chapter 7, verse 12. If he offers it for a thanksgiving, then he shall offer with the sacrifice of thanksgiving unleavened cakes mixed with oil, unleavened wafers anointed with oil, or cakes of blended flour mixed with oil. Besides the cakes, as his offering, he shall offer leavened bread with the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offering. And from it he shall offer one cake from each offering as a heave offering to the God. It shall belong to the priest who sprinkles the blood of the peace offering. The flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offering for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day it is offered. He shall not leave any of it until morning. But if the sacrifice is offered is a vow or a voluntary offering, it shall be eaten the same day that he offers the sacrifice. But on the next day, the remainder of it also may be eaten. The remainder of the flesh of the sacrifice on the third day must be burned with fire. And if any of the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offering is eaten at all on the third day, it shall not be accepted, nor shall it be imputed to him. It shall be an abomination to him who offers it, and the person who eats it shall bear guilt. Spoiled. In other words, eating spoiled food. The flesh that touches any unclean thing shall not be eaten. The flesh that touches any unclean thing shall not be eaten. It shall be burned with fire. And as for the clean flesh, all who are clean may eat of it. But the person who eats the flesh of the sacrifice of the peace offering that belongs to the God, while he is unclean, that person shall be cut off from his people. Moreover, the person who touches any unclean thing, such as human uncleanness, an unclean animal, or an abominable unclean thing, and who eats the flesh of the sacrifice of the peace offering that belongs to the God, that person shall be cut off from his people. And the God spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Ye shall not eat any fat of ox or sheep or goat, and the fat of an animal that dies naturally, and the fat of what is torn by wild beasts may be used in any other way, but you shall by no means eat it. One more time. Leviticus chapter 7, verse 22. And the fat of an animal that dies naturally, and the fat of what is torn by wild beasts may be used in any other way, but you shall by no means eat it. For whoever eats the fat of the animal of which men offer an offering made by fire to the God, the person who eats it shall be cut off from his people. Moreover, you shall not eat any blood in any of your dwellings, whether of bird or beast. Moreover, you shall not eat any blood in any of your dwellings, whether blood or beast. One more time. Leviticus chapter 7, verse 26. Moreover, you shall not eat any blood in any of your dwellings, whether of bird or beast. Whoever eats any blood, that person shall be cut off from his people. Then the God spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, He who offers the sacrifice of his peace offering to the God shall bring his offering to the God from the sacrifice of his peace offering. His own hand shall bring the offerings made by fire to the God. The fat with the breast he shall bring, that the breast may be waved as a wave offering before the God. And the priest shall burn the fat on the altar, but the breast shall be Aaron's and his sons. Also the right thigh you shall give to the priest as a heave offering from the sacrifice of your peace offerings. He among the sons of Aaron, who offers the blood of the peace offerings and the fat, shall have the right thigh for his part. For the breast of the wave offering and the thigh of the wave offering I have taken from the children of Israel, from the sacrifices of their peace offerings, and I have given them to Aaron the priest and to his sons from the children of Israel by a statute forever. This is the consecrated portion for Aaron and his sons from the offerings made by fire to the God. On the day when Moses presented them to minister to the God as priests, the God commanded this to be given to them by the children of Israel on the day that he anointed them by a statute forever throughout their generations. This is the law of the burnt offering, the grain offering, the sin offering, the trespass offering, the consecrations, and the sacrifice of the peace offering, which the God commanded Moses on Mount Sinai on the day which he commanded the children of Israel to offer their offerings to the God in the wilderness of Sinai. Yes. I want to thank y'all. No, first off, asante sana baba. First off, asante sana baba. I want to thank him for allowing me to be, because one more time, hey man, I'm learning myself. I'm getting this together. He's allowing me to do the things that I need to do so I can get closer to him. Those who want to get with it, get with it. If you don't, you don't. Hey. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, man. Fulfillment of purpose. See, most people don't understand the concept of fulfillment of purpose. To them, the whole concept is this, why am I here? Why am I here? What he put me here? What he put me here for? But then you turn around and, you pick up your glasses. You see what I'm saying? When you pick these up, guess what? It was made. Reason, purpose, goal. So if a man can come up with this, reason, purpose, goal, don't tell me he, me, you, we was not created for a reason, purpose, goal. Ain't no second coming to Jesus. Jesus ain't coming back. He did his job. Trust me. Trust me. You do your job. Come back for what? What you coming back for if you did your job? What's the motivation? You show, as we read, if you stay, as I learn, whoever want to learn with me is out there. I want to thank you. That's on the song. One more time, as always. Fuha Sabasiku. Fuha Sabasiku. Fuha Sabasiku. Happy 7th day. Fuha Sabasiku. Happy 7th day. Mimi kupenda na wewe. Wewe kupenda na mimi. Moja kupenda. Appreciate you as always. Peace.